Hi friends, it's Brutish, and this is Arcway +2. Because I couldn't find any groups for regular Arcway, I found one for Court of Stars that was all in Spanish, and then all of the other groups were healers with DPS looking for tanks. But I found this one, and I want to do Arcway so I can try and get a Collar of Enclosure, so I can fill out that sweet set bonus. I lose a little bit of item levels, but it's just fun to have all that extra haste pop. Oh boy. 839. Oh, this guy's going for a +2 carry. It's not like it's a big deal, because it's a +2, and I'm sure the tank is fine, I'm sure the other DPS is fine, and Hunter's a pretty OP anyways. It is his keystone after all. I'm going to go ahead and eat some haste food, because that 300 haste is going to be the make or break. You know, boys. I expect we'll probably get a +2 chest as we usually do on these kinds of things. I don't know if I've ever gone through Arcway without having some kind of wipe, just because of how much stupid shit can happen. People will run in and pull the worm tongues at the same time as the other guys. They'll, I don't know, they'll like not notice a ghost walking right on top of them, and it just gets silly and crazy. These guys are a lot of fun. That Ooze Explosion does a lot of damage to melee. They do this thing that I'll master spell it off, but it's just a movement speed debuff. I don't even know why they had that at the beginning here. You would think they would, like, oh, it's because they dropped the puddles. I get it. They dropped that Oozy Ooze. I don't actually really mind this instance. It is kind of long, but I think all the mechanics are cool, and the trash isn't really too bad. It's set up in such a way that you can skip a lot of it, and the stuff that you can't skip, at least, is sort of contained. This tank here is doing just fine. This explosion just does a lot of damage, but it comes in so, like infrequently enough that you can just kind of deal with it. The only problem I hate about this trash is that it's not really that easy to get a penance off on anything, because everything has such low health. Everybody's sitting at low health, but I'm not really super worried about it, because the trash is dead. Because the Ooze explosions go out fairly slowly, and they're easy to address. I don't have much water, but we have a mage if I need to bug him later. I'm not going to worry about getting everybody super topped off, just because we're going to have this big bile. He's basically a giant punching bag. There's not really anything I'm going to do to adjust my strategy from other runs for Mythic+. I'm really up to the whim of the tank anyways. I am going to Pain Suppression because these rats do hurt. They do this debuff thing, and I believe they don't give a fuck about aggro, which has totally gotten me killed in the past. So I am going to throw down a barrier, and yeah, we got it. Okay, good. We have enough AoE to take care of it. Get that dispel off on everybody. It's really funny. I did an Arcway run before, and the last boss says something like about how he won't be defeated by a swarm of rats or something like that. And we had actually wiped on that rat pack before, and one of the puppies was like, "We died to a rat pack." It was the most clever. These guys have a lot of debuffs that go out. Not all of them are really that dangerous. There's a lot of debuffs going off on stuff. Most of the debuffs are like increased arcane damage, which I guess, yeah, that's not great because of those puddles there, but they usually just get like stunned and CC'd and everything. I don't even think I saw a debuff go out there. These guys, everything they do has to be interrupted because they do a big, phase breach there does a lot of party damage, so I'm going to throw out some atonement early like this. They let it get off. That's okay. It only really matters if they just, like, if you don't interrupt it at all, you have a lot of healing to contend with. This guy, same deal. You just need to interrupt Arcane Reconstruction, because otherwise he goes back to full health, and he does that Arcane Slicer, which is very fun. Pro socializing during a video. What's up, Minrad? You're gonna see this, maybe. Yeah, let's go ahead and fight this Forgotten Spear right in the middle of the room with all the other worms. It's a great decision. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where people sort of, like, don't respect the trash that happens in here. So we're trying to dance around these mana worms at the same time. I'm going to pop Rapture here. This is the perfect time to use Rapture. I can move around while we're fighting the stuff and get these shields off. And then because Penance is castable while moving, I can do that as well. So I know people like to talk down on Rapture, but it is very, very useful for one of those, for this exact situation, which is not something that's infrequent, especially in dealing with puppies like this. Let's see, he is still alive, so we're still going to have to contend with Arcane Slicer. I kind of let my mind slip on where that dude was at for a moment, and I got worried there that that was going to sneak up on me. Well, that could have gone a lot worse. Getting the heals out with Rapture and the shields and everything, and the fact the AoE damage is good, really all comes together to help make this kind of stuff manageable. It's one of the things that I really like about Disc is that people say you can't recover from a lot of... Like, Disc has a very hard time recovering from stuff, but I really haven't felt that, both because the way they've set up the damage patterns in this expansion, and just because the tools I have, the damage is very rarely so threatening when it's done properly, or at least half properly. Like, if, for instance, that phase breach got interrupted. If it hadn't been interrupted, then we would be dealing with some problems. For all the gimmicks and stuff that all the trash has, if absolutely nothing is addressed, then yes, you're going to have a hard time. And if you were a pure healer, you might be able to, like, pop a Divine Hymn or a Healing Tide Totem or something and push through that, but you're still going to have trouble with just the raw damage that's going out. So it's not a lack of tools, it's a lack of coordination, a lack of, everybody doing their job that comes together to make that stuff difficult. He stood in it. I actually do not know why he got hit. I thought he was farther on the outside of that. So yeah, it's a little bit more difficult in this expansion to tell, hey, where was the screw up? And it can definitely feel like a lot of times with Disc that you could have possibly done more. But it's very rare, I think, that you actually were totally lacking on the things you needed. Another great situation for Rapture here. That you're totally lacking on the tools that you needed in order to get the job done. And you'll see me here, like, with the amount of atonement that I can put out consistently, I'm not lacking on the ability to get, like, almost a slow drip of AoE healing on the party. I'm hitting myself with Radiance. Again, it's spread out. I put a plea on the last person, reshield the tank. Now everybody's got it. There's not any party damage I have to contend with right now, but I just keep that rolling the whole time, and it's not something that I have to feel like I need to respond to. This little thing right here, this idea of keeping atonement up all the time, even before you feel like you need it, is the concept that I think maybe most people are missing when they feel like they get too behind on Disc, or they don't know how to respond to heavy damage going on in the party. So with the arcane guys, for instance, the little guys and well, not the big guys because they don't have as much AoE, they just have the Slicer, but the little guys with Phase Breach, that is a fight. I know going in, and here's two more from the Warp Shades, I know going in that they are going to do heavy party AoE if they're not interrupted. Now, I could get upset if interrupts don't go out and it's not done perfectly, or I could assume it's not going to go out, it's not going to be done perfectly, which is, I'd say 80% of the time going to be the case, at least once. And then I am fully prepared for it. But it was good, so we didn't need it, but that's okay. I spend a little bit of mana drinking. That's not a big deal. These guys drop this bubble here. This big bubble is 50% increased haste, and I can use this knockback to knock those guys out of it, which is very helpful because they're casters and they'll just stay there. There's some of the debuffs I was talking about before that we get from some of these other guys. I'm going to go ahead and pop my Light's Wrath to get a little bit of healing on the two people I have Atonement on. There's a little bubble that can be, or a cloud that can be kind of hard to see inside of this here. So just be mindful of that as well. Actually, the bubble is still up. I might as well, oh, never mind. I was going to say I might as well just stay in it. It is the Reclaimer who casts that. I'll get the spell off early here. Get a shield on the tank and put a Shadowman on that guy. We killed the Reclaimer right away. That's too bad. That bubble is really nice. I know my knockback isn't quite off a cooldown yet. Oh, he's straight up standing in that thing. Okay, he moved out of it. It was a late pain suppression. I had a late night last night. Cubs won the World Series, so that was pretty exciting. But it means I was up until 1 in the morning and my brain's a little sluggish. Just means I'm going to have to be a little bit more proactive on stuff. Let's see. Nope, Reclaimer's not going to get the cast off. That's fine. I'm going to sit down and get a drink as soon as I see this guy is down, because I assume the tank is just going to run right in there. It is a Mythic+ after all. There we go. So that gives me enough time to drink and get my mana up. I don't think he's going to have a hard time with the damage on this. Suppression Protocol, I do not believe ever goes off on healers, so I don't need to worry about it. There we go. I got the heals out. Pop my ring a little bit. Go ahead and Rapture so I can get in position and move around and pick up these things while everything else is going on. I like this. Let's see, get a click off on this guy. I try and, as Disc, because I am a lot more mobile as a healer than you might think, I try to take care of a lot of the responsibilities and mechanics that I have to on this fight, or on any boss fight. Let's see, I will pull him out at the last second, and there, got it, okay. I just didn't want him to eat a big hit. Sometimes tanks are like, oh, I'll just pop a defensive on that, and I get it, but I can do that little thing, save you the time of having to do the running, and then you don't have to worry about it. So the reason I ran into that hurt zone right there is because there was the 2 puddles in there, and now I have 5 stacks of haste. I should really just be going ham on this guy, because I can do a lot of damage when I have good haste like this. This is the fun part. And I have that penance reset belt, so I can get a little bit of extra off. Quarantine, but he's dead, so I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, we still have to break him out, though. That's funny. It's going real smooth. I don't know about +3. I never know about +3 unless like the group is really on top of everything. The damage is pretty good. I am beating the Hunter on damage. I was also going straight for those haste things and pushing real hard on those buttons. So that makes a pretty big difference in that as well. Yeah, I have the arcane damage taken debuff, which I don't know how much of an impact it's actually going to have on my damage taken. I guess there is sort of just stuff going out a little bit. I have 2 stacks, but I'll take care of that. Unstable Flux, whatever that does. Mass Dispel is also nice because these guys get this little buff on themselves. They can't be interrupted. So if you Mass Dispel, you'll get all the debuffs off your friends and all the buffs off of your enemies. Go ahead and use a Mana Fiend here. It's a very short cooldown, and it just reduces the amount of drinking, or reduces the frequency that I have to drink. He's staying in that cloud again. It's okay. Bears are pretty resilient, and I'm dealing a slow drip of healing to him all the time anyways. We'll get a little drink here. 60% mana is more than enough, but if I can help it, I try to just keep myself as close to full as possible. You shouldn't really feel any pressure as a healer to pretend to be like a tough guy and be like, I'm going to wear my mana down as close to the wire as I can. That's one of the things that I've learned from playing a healer over the years is just be cautious. You don't know when things are going to go wrong. You don't know how they're going to go wrong. There's no reason to push. It's not like a DPS where you maybe even should get a little reckless to maximize your damage. Healing is all about that safety. It's all about being ahead of the game and being prepared for stuff. So that's why I'll run around, like, for instance, I have engineering bombs. I am an engineer, so I can make them myself. But I'll have engineering bombs, and if it's a situation where I know I don't need mana, I'll put them on my hotbar here, and if there's a guy that's almost dead, and my penance is on cooldown, one of those rare situations where I just need that little extra bit of burst healing, I'll absolutely pop an engineering bomb off. And you might think that's not really a healer thing. Oh, good, I'm going to have a spider on my face in just a moment. That's not really a healing thing, but, I mean, at the end of the day, damage is healing, even if it's not directly turned into atonement. Though, I don't know if they fixed this. There was a point where, and it might still be the case, that the engineering bombs dot, not the impact itself, but the dot afterward applied atonement healing. So it's technically a very small amount of healing you can put out with it too. I would not micromanage that though. I would not plan on that. The Druid tank is very upset that I stood on the spiders, which I had not planned to, but it's fine. So I believe these are the last spiders before the boss. Oh no, these are all of them. I don't have pain suppression, but I do have barrier, so I'm going to pop a barrier on him, and he's going to run out of it. Nope, he's going back in. Thank you, friend. I'm going to use, let's see, there we go. Penance, because I have barrier for the devoted now, and that means that I do double penance healing inside the barrier, or 2 people inside the barrier. Now we fight the boss lady. I really need a drink. Do I get it off? I do. Cool. Okay, I'm getting my mana back. Should have realized that a little bit earlier, but it's okay. We're up to full. Just got the dot on her. Just got the penance on her. I'm going to go ahead and Mana Fiend. I am going to be ready with my life grip here so that when 2 people get linked, if one of them is sort of running away from me, or running towards me and running away from the other person, basically if they're in the right position, that me gripping them can get them to break that earlier, then I will absolutely do that. Because sometimes people just don't even realize, too, that they'll think, because there's a lot of mechanics where you have to run together. There it is. Let's see who it is. I'm going to grab that one. Boom, perfect. They think that when you're linked, you have to run together, but that's not the case on this one, and that can turn into problems. I'm going to blow Rapture here, both for the shields and everybody, for the coverage, and to get my pain suppression cooldown up a little bit faster, because this tank's just taking a couple hits, and I want to maybe have that up. Let's see, she will probably still be alive. Just sort of a backup strat. Let's see, everybody's doing okay. Throw a Shadow Man on him, get the penance off with that tank. The tank is taking some pretty good hits. Let's see. Oh, were they linked? Did I miss a link? It's okay. I wouldn't have been able to help with it anyways. She is down. We're going the wrong way. There we go. He's got it. I'm going to get him to full, and then I'm going to drink. We are making very good progress on this, though. I do hope we get 3 chests, because it's just more shot at legendaries. Like, I need more of them. I certainly wouldn't mind. I'm going to mark these 2. There we go. I certainly wouldn't mind having more options available to me. That's always nice. Because, for instance, the Penance Reset Belt is not very good in raids because I just don't get a lot of time to smite. He's got that thing on. Do they? Nope, they don't. Okay, good. Oh, no. Oh, thank God. Okay, so when they do Demonic Ascension, it puts a buff on them. It's not actually the end of the world if they finish the cast, but it puts a buff on them, and if they die with the buff on them, that's what causes them to transform. So I, as a Disc Priest having an offensive Dispel, it is my responsibility to make sure that I get that off, because that is another way that I can save a considerable amount of time. Sit down to drink. Thankfully, we don't have to fight both these. The number of kills we have for these groups is very good. I don't think we're going to have to go out of our way for any extra packs. I don't think I've ever really had to in this dungeon. Maybe when it's going the other direction, because you can skip some of these guys. But we'll have to fight some Worm Tongues there and on the way back. Let's see. Are we going to skip him? We are. I was standing in fire. That's okay. We are waiting for this man. Are we going to punch him? We are going to punch him. There's usually a ghost lady. There she is. She's usually patrolling around here. So this eyes thing is really annoying. What it does is it turns and it faces you before it casts, or it turns and it faces somebody before it casts. So you can kind of see where it's going and then get out of the way and not get hit by it. It's just a little bit extra control you have over avoiding that damage. This lady is all about the interrupts. There's sadly not much you can do as a healer. I do believe, like most healing reduction effects, though. Oh no, they actually say absorbs for once. The way it used to be is it would just be healing, and you could totally cheese stuff like that through absorbs. No longer the case. So the best thing you can do during that fight is to really just put on as much damage as possible and make sure she dies quickly. These guys actually kind of trucked the tank. I should have been on the ball there with a pain suppression. I have it up. I have Rapture up so I could help refresh it faster. We're going to fight these groups. I wonder, yeah, that might be a smart move. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try. Nope, we got everybody. Well, I'm very glad I saved pain suppression then, because we are going to need it. Putting it out now. I'm going to roll it right into a barrier in just a moment here. There's the barrier. I should be hard casting heals on him right now. This is one of those times where the Shadowman spam is real. Okay, good. Actually, it looks like we really took that stuff down fast. That mage did a lot of AoE damage. Very good recovery, very good work from the DPS. Doing Portal Argus, but they're dead. That was a fantastically executed pull on everybody's part. I think the tank probably used the defensive. I rolled my defensives on him. The DPS popped all their DPS and went ham, and that's the exact right way to do it. Don't lose your cool, push all your buttons, and make the guys dead. I had a little bit of a brain fart there. I cast a smite when I should have been continuing to Shadow Men. I do get a little aggressive like that sometimes. I see guys and I'm like, I need to make these health bars go down, and I should really be leaning more towards making sure the tank doesn't go down, because that's really the biggest the biggest threat most of the times. Not that the party's going to die, not that the enemies are going to die fast enough, but that the tank is just not going to get enough heals. Even though tanks are very self-sufficient, there's still just it's a ton of damage. Mythic+2 isn't a lot, but it's non-trivial. Unless, the group is... Everybody knows each other, they know all their buttons, they're in comm, they're communicating all the time. So we are in a puppy group, and it's always better to assume certain things, like that things will not go perfectly. There's the stomp. It's not a lot of damage. get the healings off everybody. I'll get a drink on. I always like to mark these cast bringers just to make them clear that they're the priority target. I think most people know by this point. It seems like they do. I have my Skittles bound to my numpad here, so I can put them on guys just by moving my hand over. And I find that's very helpful. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to... I mean, unless we're talking like really advanced threats here, but most people understand if a skull goes out on something, hey, somebody thinks maybe that guy should be killed. And usually the person who's doing that, the person who puts in enough effort to put out markers on stuff, might know a thing or two about it. It's not an unsafe assumption. If people don't notice or don't care, then it's no loss. But at least you're making an attempt at communicating. I know for a fact that I have missed a lot of stuff in chat because I'm just not usually looking at chat personally. Yeah, that's the eyeball thing I was talking about. Damage really sucks on it. I do have my healing potions. He is dead. I was dancing around there a little bit because I was trying to see if I could dodge the beam so I could go get just like a good penance or a good damage spell off on one of the guys, but they were all dying so quickly. So there goes my pro strats. I'm not at full mana, but I'll have my mana friend up in about 30 seconds. Let's see, he's going to do a Shadow Slash, which kind of sucks. He only does, I think, one ability that's guaranteed to hit everybody. Let's see, am I gonna... No, they're gonna be fine. All the other stuff is completely avoidable. Let's see, is it Fell Fissure? I think it might be. Or it's probably a Slam. Because anything that's... Yeah, Wicked Slam. Anything that's called Slam usually means that a bunch of people are gonna be getting hit. Bats are going out. I do trust this tank to pick them up. I'm gonna throw some dots on him anyways. Nah, he's not gonna. It's okay. There's the Wicked Slam. But because everybody was dodging things and they were in control here. Nope, ooh, that was a pro-ass blink. Because everybody's in control here and not running into stuff, then it's not a huge... The danger from Wicked Slam is not a huge danger. And he's dead, and so we are going to run back the way we came. Time is looking really good. There's a really strong chance we're going to 3-chest this. Yeah, he talks about a rat infestation. I'm not sure if those rats are always there in that one spot, but... or it might be for that one quest where you have to kill the Rat King guy. They might show up for that reason. Either way, there's an awful lot of talk of rats in the sewer. Big surprise. I need some mana. So we got these guys. We already have our kill percentage, so that's nice. I'm gonna stand. Oh, I was gonna stay on top of this guy to get a fear off if I had to, but it looks like we got it covered. Group's doing just fine, but that it doesn't hurt to be prepared for these things. No matter how good your group is, just assume that you can play your part to just get involved. Sometimes people slip up. I mean, if you watch these videos for any appreciable amount of time, if you watch any of the videos I put up so far, I make a lot of little mistakes, and it's not that you should never make mistakes, but that you should know. Well, he didn't even wait for me to finish. Part of it is practice for knowing what the really bad mistakes are and avoiding those, and then just letting the other one slide. And then recognizing the other kinds of the little mistakes that other people can make and how you can address those. Hey, he's got the next interrupt. And so, anyways, long story short, getting in there to potentially fear is one of those elements of control that I have. These things work like the Novas on Imperator, which is to say they push you back and you need to run into them. Another great use for Rapture. I'm going to put a barrier on him, and I'm going to health potion myself. I'm going to put, let's see, there we go. I'm going to put Radiance on everybody, and then I'm going to go, boom. Ooh, this is not good because I don't have everybody at full health, so he was a little bit out of line of sight. I'm going to push really hard on my heal buttons to get everybody topped off before we start running. Self included, I'll put a shield up. We need to kill these guys. They don't have a lot of health, though. There we go. So you really just have to put... if everybody puts one strong ability on them, then that's enough. And this is one of those times where I'll actually use Plea quite a bit. I just sit here and I spam Plea over and over again while we're running. It's not zero healing. It's not a lot of healing, but it's enough to help fight the damage a little bit. And then it also means everybody has Atonement on them when we get to these guys. So if I manage to get a Penance off, like I didn't on that guy, but if I happen to get a Penance off, then healing is already going out to refill everybody. I know people have asked, how the hell do you handle the run back on this? And that's it. You You do your damage things. You do everything you can do on the move. And that should be enough. If you're dying to that because, well, either the tank's running ahead too far or your damage just isn't touching those guys, that's not a problem that you can correct, and you shouldn't worry about it. See, we already... Oh, we lost at the beginning of this fight. That's fine. I actually don't remember that. Put my Shadow Men's out. I'll go ahead and get a Radiance. There's just a lot of AoE damage in this fight here. Oh, we are absolutely going to get 3 chests. He just exploded. I was looking over the timer on the right here, and then all of a sudden I look back in the Hunter's dead. But I'm pretty sure he got hit by one of those little dudes. He got his carry, though. He's good. Great work, friends. 3 chests. And I'll leave the video running so we can see what's in them. Oh, he just released. I got a cloak I don't need. I got 2 of these fragments. That's nice. And I got some gold. And it looks like nobody got a legendary. That's unfortunate. It's always exciting to be around that. And that'll be all. Thanks, friends.